It's just going to be a good start for it.
Yeah, it sounds like
so,
it.
Right? Yeah.
You and your little pre-cum issue.
Yeah, right here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us to Effing Around with Mo, Mike, and Joe.
I'm Joe.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Mo. And today we have with us Mike.
I'm another Mike.
Another Mike. Before we start off anything, we do a shot to for shot right here. It's a shot. It's called Shot Beverage. It's an energy drink. You're supposed to mix it in with the seltzer water, which is why we have a seltzer water right here.
Their scientists say we should.
Yeah, right.
It's optimal.
But we don't listen to them, because we do what we do. And
I
I listen
listen
every episode.
I'm listening.
He listens.
I've done the syrup. It's cool.
Sweet. It's delicious.
It's,
it is very nice.
It's worth trying.
Are you going to be sleeping later tonight?
Hopefully at some point in time. All right. I will let you know how effective this is.
Give up
based
on
on my
that.
bedtime.
All right. Well, shout out to Shot.
Shout out
to Shot.
Shout out to Shot.
Shout out.
Shout out to Shot.
To Shot.
So good.
Still, I'm really liking the new flavor that we've opened up.
The new flavor is really
Very
good.
Newest one. What
The
do
new-
we call it?
second
Lime
one.
and currant or
It's
something?
it is blackcurrant and lime.
Black
very
currant and
good.
lime. It's
That
very
is-
tasty.
That's very tasty.
Yeah.
And if you like, we can wash it down with some vodka.
Yeah.
That's actually I'm rocking the bourbon right now, so I'm gonna not mix the flavors
Okay.
because I want to keep the current.
Got it?
All right.
I'm just trying to get my...
The swishy swirl and then the dump.
This is why do I feel like this is like a whole new episode? We don't have like anything. All right. So Mike, why don't you tell us about yourself? Yeah.
I'm from Texas. I'm just a family.
Is everything
man.
really bigger in Texas?
Not true? That is a common misconception. There are
Because
a
I
lot
thought
of
only
things.
steers and queers come from Texas.
That's a very common saying from movies.
love that
That
thing.
was what, like Full Metal Jacket, I believe.
I was doing from Officer and a Gentleman. Wasn't
Oh,
it?
okay, fair
No,
enough.
I
Yeah.
Was
think...
it Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was full Metal
okay.
Jacket.
It was-
Son,
it was Full
you
Metal
look like
Jacket.
you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Yeah, there's a lot of really quotable lines and quotable metaphors that come out of
Yeah.
that. But yeah, Texas, everything is not always bigger, but the majority of things are bigger. But not everything.
Okay.
But yeah, so a family man from Texas. I'm out here. I do a bunch of work in Chicago to and from. I come out like once a month. I do marketing. I'm also a battle rapper in my free time. That's a total lie. It's not.
No, I was about to say, you're on the
I was
mic.
about to say,
You're on the mic.
Joe. Joe's our other rap
No,
battler.
you know he's got a whole Rolodex of songs here. Mike might have to go with you.
Hey, Mike, hit him.
No.
I'll turn it over to the professionals. That's not my forte. That's not my forte.
We're recording. I'm sorry to say, but we are recording here on a bit of an off night. It's a school night for Mike, so I'm being a little more cautious. And I do have a job to be at in the morning.
Well,
So he's
good.
not full mic today.
That's
know,
good. Okay,
usually
so
we-
safety first, then teamwork.
Typically we do.
Oh.
We record on like a Friday or Saturday, and
That's why it feels off right now. I was like, kind of feels a little bit off, and I don't know why. It's because it's like in the middle of the week. We never recorded in the middle of a week.
So on the weekends,
I mean,
we
we
call him the
have.
Golden
Yeah.
Mike.
Have we?
During the week, we should start calling him Mike the Gent because he's such a gentleman.
Mike has been a gentleman. He actually said hi to me, shook my hand, and then he proceeded to start doing the syrup.
also known as syrup.
That's from the Houston area of Texas.
Really?
Yeah, that's very prominent. The syrup, sipping on some syrup. Very common in a lot of lines.
Syrup.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Atlanta.
No, it can be Atlanta too. Atlanta and Houston go toe to toe for everything. The syrup,
Yeah,
the
3-6
rap,
Mafia
the
is
strip
who
clubs.
I think of.
Strip clubs in Houston beat strip clubs in Atlanta.
Oh,
that's-
so now
Whoa.
I've got to ask you.
Uh-huh.
Did you go through a drive-through strip club during COVID? Because I heard
I did
Texas
not.
is the
I
one
was,
that had them.
I was baking bread and staying at home and just kind of
you're
being
a
boring.
kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we had our first daughter during COVID, so there was
congrats.
there was a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of just making
Right.
sure things happen right. But believe me, if there were no children in the picture, things might have been definitely not gentleman Mike of me. They would have been the after school weekend hours Mike. But no, I didn't get the luxury of going through a drive-through strip
I
club.
saw it on the news, and I saw it like all over online. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They set
How
up
does
like,
that even work?
So they set up
How
like
does
a
it
car
work?
wash.
Yeah.
Where it was closed in a tent, and you drove in with your car, and they danced around your car, and they had poles set up on each side of the car so you could throw money through your window.
And I
at 'em.
guarantee you that was probably some of the absolute best strip club action anyone has ever had, despite the whole COVID thing, because bills had to be made. These girls got their income taken away from them,
Yeah.
and you know what? They're going to work
Yeah.
hard for that money, and I
Hey, they
appreciate
figured it
that.
out. Yep.
God bless.
That's fucking awesome as hell, man.
Yeah, most support single mothers.
Yes, I
Yep.
do. Very much so.
Support the single moms. It's like those old PSAs from NBC. The more you know.
Yeah,
Support single moms.
a little
people
rainbow
too.
over your head. A shooting star rainbow. I went to school in Cincinnati, and down there they have drive-through liquor stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have that in Texas too, right?
There are drive-through beer barns, but because Texas is in the Bible Belt, it's a very
Beer
difficult
barns.
thing to get the liquor through anything but a store, and they close it on Sunday so you don't make bad decisions on the Lord's Day. It's very interesting.
It's probably the
Oh, wow.
same with Cincinnati, if I had to remember. I do remember kind of Sunday being a problem. Yeah, I think I do remember that, but I only remember getting beer through the drive-through liquor store, and that's just because that's what we call them from here. But yeah, no, a lot of states you get beer you can get beer almost anywhere, but then hard liquor is only sold at specific types of liquor stores.
You
I
know
don't even know
something
if I don't even know if you know this or not, but in Oklahoma, our northern neighbors, they had something for a long time called near beer. Because Oklahoma had they had a legislation that was passed that beer could only be a certain alcohol percentage, which in the long run was probably smart because people from Oklahoma and Texas, we think less of each other's intelligence and we want them to make good decisions. So please don't get them all fueled up on a lot of beer. Give them the half stuff, like. But yeah, near beer was a real thing for a long time.
What was I gonna say? Like something that I feel like I noticed is like, for some reason like this southern part of the U.S. Like you would expect alcohol to be like way more for like I don't know why I always had that assumption of like you go more south you're gonna find way more alcohol, it's gonna be way more fucking like within arm's reach type of thing, and I go down south and it's just like it's the hardest fucking thing to find. You're like, what the fuck is this?
So you got to think,
Like-
it wasn't a bunch of northerners who were calling for the prohibition.
Was it south? Yeah.
It's just those the Bible thumpers, and that's where
So
that's where the majority of them were.
So I always view
Are.
it as you don't get high on your own supply because I think a lot of the big distributors and people that make it, they have a lot of distilleries in the South, so they're so used to it
In
being
dry
around there,
counties.
and they ship it out to everyone else. It's like, yeah, we know this shit's gonna fuck you up, so everybody else do
Yeah.
it.
Keep it out of our backyard.
Yeah,
Not in my backyard, but in your backyard.
yeah,
Send it out, retrieve the income.
exactly.
There you go.
That's the American way.
So
Well, speaking of,
there you go. What's up?
so you guys hear the news about this jumbo jet gift that the president was talking about?
Jumbo jet?
Yeah,
Did you?
Yeah, so-
did you
No, I
hear
haven't
that?
heard anything about that. No.
Okay, so the president's upset that Boeing's taking so long to produce the new Air Force One, and the country of Qatar actually offered us a luxury jet from the royal family worth like $400 million.
Really?
Yeah.
How are our business relations with them right now? Are we good? Should we worry about
we're
this?
about to be better.
About to be really good. So now a lot of people are all up in arms about like the it's a gift from a foreign government. It's this, it's that. So I mean, we were just kind of talking about that a little bit. So I'm kind of wondering, what do you guys? You guys got an opinion on this at all?
I do.
mean,
I used to give girls that I was dating on Tinder gifts. Like, that's totally fine, right? Like, you don't know if they're going to stay
but
or
did
go.
they keep
but-
it, or were they able to take a pill for it?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I would say they did keep most of my gifts. I collect like 1950s, 1960s extremely sexist ads, and I have an
nice.
entire wall on
That's
in
fucking
my home of all the ads from National Geographic, Popular Mechanics, like Time, all the stuff from back in the day. And it's just like, I could never do anything without my KitchenAid washer. It's amazing. Like, it's the most terrible things. But I would give those out. I would be like, hey, do you want to take one with you? I'm reframing some new ones. You want to take one? Yeah. And
Dude,
they
that's
would-
so fucking cool, though. I fucking love those
That's
old
hilarious.
ads, man.
I'd love
That's
to see
awesome.
those or get pictures
yeah,
of them.
seriously.
But it pops in my head.
kind of know why my game is so lacking.
I know, right? He
Well,
gives out
we can
goodie
hang out. I
bags,
come
right?
back every month. Me and you can have a sesh. We can sit down. We can rap about it.
But I think it was like a meme ad or whatever it was. Remember that Bentley ad that went around years ago? Where it shows the girl over the counter leaning
Stop.
over?
And it doesn't matter if it's got some miles on it or if it's used.
Yes.
It's still a Bentley.
Yes.
I've seen it. I own it. I don't have it framed just
It
yet,
is
but I
one-
know
it
where
is
it's
my
at.
favorite ad of all time I've ever seen. Have you seen this?
I have.
Lovely.
One of my favorites though came out of so my brother did a year abroad in Spain, and he used to send me like Maxim magazines
Yeah.
or whatever from Spain or different parts of Europe wherever he was visiting. And I'm going through one of them, and of course, there's like topless chicks in them, which was kind of really cool as like a high schooler. Like, oh hey, look, I got
They're
Maxim.
still really cool today.
No, still, but I mean, nobody, you don't, who still reads Maxim magazine? Like,
is that even
still
around?
I don't have no
I have
idea.
no idea, honestly.
But
Maxim, shout us out.
you still got your Hot 100?
Wasn't there FHM too? Was that the other one?
Yeah, FHM and stuff, and there was a few of them.
Once a year, they did a really good Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I think they did. Just one good one every year.
And it depends on what you could get your hands on at the time. You might have to go through the Sears catalog, get past the hand models, and find the braziers.
Right.
It could be anything.
Right. Struggles we had that it sounds like Mo didn't have.
Yeah,
But I think Mike's a little bit more in our generation.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm actually 38 years old. So
also, he's right in their generation.
Yeah, I can recall, but I was an old soul for a long time. When I was bartending, this is like circa 2006. I started meeting a bunch of regulars, and whenever we talk about the challenges of yesteryear, I grew up on that kind of stuff. That was like my educational period, and I've heard a lot, seen a lot, got a lot of different perspective, and it all kind of stuck because you get to meet these people, you serve up drinks, you hear the stories, and it all kind of just goes into your own personal philosophy. But yeah, when it comes down to the Sears catalog and titties, like that was a common thing back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm flipping through one of these things.
So you got three people here who are basically the same age.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're a decade younger.
And
Mo, do you want to take a notepad? Do you want to grab some notes on this? This will help your perspective.
I gotta sit there.
So I'm flipping through the magazine, and then there's an ad for KY, right? And it's like a coast, right? You're looking at like a coast kind of thing, and you see all the pylons where you would like tie up a giant ship, right? Mm-hmm. And they're very uniformly apart. And then in one of them, all you see is a woman sitting on the right. No, not sitting on it. Just, you got
KY's working.
Post, woman, post.
Got it.
Right? And then it was like KY. I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. So that's the one that always, like the dirtiest one that I can ever remember.
Well, the ad man that came up with that probably still like till his dying day, if he's still around, God bless you. But like that's when you have the idea and you put it down on paper and it comes to fruition and you actually see it out in the wild and you were like, you knew the second the idea popped in your head, like, oh, this is gonna be gold. But yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
It's like the Corona ad. Remember when they're on the beach and they put through their phones?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes,
That
because
was
you
a
don't need
classic
that.
one.
You don't need that when you're on vacation.
Right. And they had a couple versions where they threw. It was like, but it was back when Blackberries were a thing. Mm-hmm. So before smartphones, so they threw the phones in the water,
Back then that was
or they
money.
was just ringing on the side, or they threw them in the bucket.
Oh,
of ice.
yeah.
It was like classic. It was their thing for a while.
Right. Those were good ones. Or even like, they were very minimalist ads where.
All right, now I think I really do need a notebook. I have a notepad. What the fuck?
I'm like literally going back to my like marketing classes in college, like remembering like going through and dissecting these ads.
I gotta say, probably one of the best marketing things I saw for Corona ever, and because it always made me like, oh yeah, now I want cans, was in the movie Old School. Mm-hmm. They're drinking Corona cans, and I'm like, at that point in my drinking history, I had never seen Corona in cans before. And it was always like, oh, you can't bring Corona to like the beach, or like, you just had to be careful because of the glass, right? You just better off with cans, right? So it was like, oh my God, look at the cans. And then it wasn't until, maybe 5-10 years later that you actually started to see them rolling out. But I wonder if it was enough people like me that were like, well, where the fuck are these cans? That they started like, okay, well, we'll give them to you or whatever.
That's so good on Corona though, because they cleared it for the movie, and somebody somewhere at Corona knew this movie's gonna be good. Which it's a cult classic. Like any way you look at it, Old School is just good metaphors. It's livelihood, it's excitement, all wrapped up into one debaucherous picture. But to get the product placement in there is expensive. But you have to be very careful with like your brand. Your brand equity is super important, and where it goes is what is associated with. But the fact that you can show the cans in a movie, the people that are generally watching that, the audience is probably about that same time frame, like, let's go party, let's go drink. And when the cans are unavailable and you wonder about it and they show up, instantaneous, let me scoop it, let me get it.
Right.
Good on them. Corona,
All right.
you guys did it.
So just for anybody who's like listening, do you want to like actually give like some background information about yourself, about what you do for work and everything like that?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
So for work, what I do is I'm a director of marketing for a very large-scale sublimation printer. And educational moment, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Educational Minute with Other Mike. Sublimation printing is actually where you take paper, you print on the paper in reverse with ink, and then you run the paper next to fabric in a little sandwich, and you run it through some heater rollers. And those rollers get to like 400 plus degrees, all the ink vaporizes, and it gets absorbed into the fabric, and that's where you have the ability to do some really crispy, awesome detail, whereas a screen printer who's pressing stuff and slapping ink on a screen and pushing stuff down, you can only get so detailed, you can only go so far. So on your computer, when you're looking at images and stuff, you go, fuck yeah, copy and paste, boom. That's what we do with fabric. So we do, at my company, we do apparel. We do lots of big things like tents. We do table covers. We do flags. And we work specifically within the B2B environment in the promotional products industry. So we work with distributors, marketing consultants, people that have big franchises that sell promotional products. And we're kind of like the behind the scenes guys. You'll never know who we are. I will never tell you my secrets. But I guarantee you, anywhere you've been that you've seen, a 10 by 10 canopy tent that's been branded, or you see like gigantic flags for a realtor or like a now open business, we're probably the guys that made it. And when you see really cool, crazy apparel and bags and stuff that just look ultra detailed, that could be us as well. But we're all around you in silence. So yeah.
That wasn't creepy at all.
Yeah, no.
But I kept looking at Mike that whole time because did anyone else pick this up? The way he described exactly what he did was like he was directing a porn scene. Like, think about it. He said you gotta slap him around, you put him in a sandwich, you gotta get that extra moist, you gotta heat it up. Like
this is where Joe's mind goes.
Yeah, no, he's talking about 400-degree rollers.
I know, but like take out those things and put in like the directional things he said to describe it.
Who doesn't love rolling
No,
around,
I think
getting
you
hot,
just-
getting hot and sweaty? Come on.
400 degrees, come on.
Oh, man.
You know, I'm thinking like, fuck. Like, okay, so it's like, superheating the like image or whatever, and then somehow the sand helps get it on the. I don't
So
I don't understand
Mike
the
is
sand
going
part,
full
but
on science.
this
and
guy
Joe's
is-
going on tits and ass.
Yeah,
That's okay.
it's usually the other way
You see what
around.
I mean? Right, actually,
But I'm like watching how you described it. You're like you can slap it around a bit. I'm like,
That's the joy of human metabolism. What are we here to do but eat and fuck? That is what we do. That's what we do. So sometimes we get all Neanderthal with it and go right back to it.
Exactly.
It's ingrained in our mammalian brain. It's
Hunt
wonderful.
together. Oh my.
What's your favorite part about like coming to Chicago? So now you come over here.
Wait,
like,
hold
once
on.
a
I
month.
had a question
Oh,
about
did
the
you?
sand. Remember?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
where's
go
the
ahead.
sand? Like,
Oh, the sand thing.
like, what's the sand do for the printing process? Like,
So sand.
right? You did
He said
mention
sandwich.
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 You place a paper with ink on it
Yeah.
on the fabric, and then when you press them together and roll them through some superheated heater rollers, it vaporizes the ink.
Okay,
and
so I heard
puts it in.
sandwich, but I thought I heard sand as well. So
You were
it's like-
thinking about me.
You were thinking. You were thinking about Corona on the beach. The sand.
Right, no, I was just
He went to
wondering. I'm like,
vacation
okay,
mode.
so it's like, is that
Damn you,
got something to do with like the?
I'm still sitting here. He goes, "You sandwiching stuff over there?"
Wait, when do we get the sandwiches?
Yeah, you
But no sand involved.
No sand.
There is a sand that is involved in. This is fun for you. DTF printing.
Oh,
There you go. That's where you go.
I heard that one.
It,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
actually refers to direct to film printing. You can take film that's like a clear film, print ink directly on it, and then a very fine sand of sorts that's a chemically composed kind of like dehydrator goes on the back of it as it's printing. And then
Okay.
you can throw it in a heat press, pop it on a t-shirt. But there is a DTF print down to direct to film. I'm not going to go in your channel, but at the same time, yeah, there's a type of sand that's involved, but different type of printing.
Okay, no, I think I just we get it. I just misheard. I thought I heard like, hey, you sandwich things together, and then I thought like with the superheated rollers, and I was like, does a sand press it into the fabric in a way that like, like
No, sandwich.
I don't know.
Yummy
Right.
sandwich.
So sorry.
No, to what I was saying earlier though, you come over here like once a month, right?
Correct.
For with Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. What is like have you had time to like explore anything like around the city? What are some things that
Oh
you like
man, I
about
got to
the city?
explore Taylor Street like you would not believe. No, it's fun. There's a lot of things that are there. We've been downtown. We've done like the whole like we'll go do Splitsville or the bowling thing indoors, and then run around different bars. I did have the chance to go out to I think Emporium. That was like super
yeah.
fun. It's like
Yep.
all the finance bros playing on skeet ball and
Yep.
like basketball, and it's just fun to go hoop it up and have some beers.
I don't know if
it must have been the Fulton one.
Is Emporium like a national thing or is it just a Chicago thing?
I don't know. I think it's just like one of the West Loop thing. Like West Loop.
Right,
super
so
fun.
he's at the one in Fulton Market.
Right.
where all the
Well, I'm
finance
saying,
bros are.
like for anybody who's like not from Chicago, Emporium.
Oh, it's a beer.
is
It's a beer cade.
It's a beer cade. Yeah.
It's a beer cade.
Right.
So Beercade, I've done the Illuminati's pizza as part of my like. I gotta check them out.
Yeah.
Gotta change my perspective on deep dish because I'm more of like a New York style guy. Like I spent a lot of time in New York too, but like at the same time, like the pizza for deep dish. Shout out Illuminati's. They keep me watching my weight. But
You got to go with the tavern style though too. Our thin crust.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yes,
much
yeah, the
more
thin crust, I think,
of
is
like
that's it.
a normal Chicago thing. The deep dish is a little more touristy.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But the majority of us, we would go with the thin crust. They call it tavern style,
Okay.
sort of a thing.
Okay. So
that-
refer to Dave Portnier and like from Barstool Sports and like.
Oh, you watch his one bite?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one bite. That's a really.
Have you ever
good
actually
time.
seen him take one bite, or is it like a
It's
dozen?
a whole slice. It's a whole slice.
Yeah.
He like jams that thing in his
You
mouth.
hungry dude? He's probably been driving around all day trying to find this pizza place. He's
Next
like,
spot.
finally, I get to eat. Okay, cool. One bite.
No.
I made my decision. I'm gonna just have some more. Good for you.
I was living in Queens when he did the pizza place that I had gone to normally, and now I can't remember the name of it. Fuck, it was in Bayside, Queens, though. That's what I remember. On Bayside Boulevard.
Did you try it?
No, I had been there. It was like a
Yeah.
place that I'd gone to on
Was
a
it
regular
good?
basis.
Yeah.
Would you have agreed with his rating?
Probably. I mean, look, it's funny. You know, a lot of his ratings, like, you know, they're my feelings on a lot of the New York pizza where, you know, it's like fucking French fries. You know, you guys, so many of you are doing it that, you know, there's a lot of you
It's
doing
just
it
everywhere.
horribly wrong.
Yeah.
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 You know, but I would say, yeah, New York is a, you know, fun place to visit, but man, living there sucked.
Oh, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the prices of it, and then I know you said there's like a lot of times like people are not as friendly as like they are in Chicago.
Oh, no,
they're
I mean,
friendly.
fuck
They can be friendly. They can be
Yeah.
friendly. I was at I stayed in Brooklyn a couple times for work,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the friendliest people I ever met was the gentleman that used to cut Allen Iverson's hair. And like we went through all these different like pictures on his phone, and he was like, "No, I did this. I'm like, no, you didn't. Let me see, prove it." I bought some weed from him. It was fantastic, and he was just a generally nice guy. And like everybody that I met, aside from just random commuting and getting place to place, I always had a good time. I was in Midtown. I was in Meatpacking District. Did Queens. I had clients that were pretty much all over that I would go visit. That in between there and Jersey. I'll say New York actually had more of a friendly aspect than Jersey. Jersey is, what have you done for me? What are you going to do for me? Okay, what are you going to do for me?
Pretty much, yeah.
New York is actually
Yeah.
just do your shit.
Sounds
Do your
right.
shit. Move fast. Go
Tracks.
for it. Cool.
Yeah, no, my feeling about New Yorkers were that there weren't actually many people from New York that I was meeting. You know, unless I met some like, you know, 70-year-old dude that lived in my fucking gigantic building, you know, now and then like going in and out and like, hey man, you know, like, you know, what's going on? You know, tell me something, you know.
Tell me
You
something
saw
I
that
don't
you
know.
saw this neighborhood change, didn't you? You've been in this place for a while. What are you paying? $25 a month? You were like the first resident here, weren't you? You know, like
My rent was 6 blueberries and
Right.
$28.
and
Okay,
that's
cool.
basically who like my friends became because I was in a very like Asian part of New York. It was Flushing, Queens.
Okay.
And it's basically like Chinatown without all the like lights and glamour.
Home to Action Bronson?
Maybe.
I think so. I think he's from Flushing's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean there's a different part of it, but like the main part of it, it was like you were in an Asian country. You know, you would see more different Asian characters than you would see English.
No,
You know,
shit.
you'd walk past a building and it would have 10 fucking companies on the outside of it, right? And you'd go into this building and every like what would normally be almost a cubicle, you know, anywhere else or like, you know, like not even like this, our studio this could be like 10 companies.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Oh,
everybody,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
It'd just be a hallway with offshoots.
You'll be surprised how many
Holy
shell
shit.
companies actually exist, because when I was working in promo to get started, I was actually a B2B consultant, and I worked with a lot of bigger brands like Ray-Ban, Tumi, Callaway, a lot of things that you've heard of, a lot of larger companies that no one's ever heard of, but you might have their stuff. And one of the things that the industry tries to keep out is trying to keep out like really shady importers, and they like to use companies that are like virtual office spaces, or they share a lawyer's office, and that's their physical address, but it's some dude at a cubicle size thing,
Right.
running stuff offshore to inshore, running containers from here to there, and brokeraging the prices. And it was almost like an epidemic for a long time, because you'd have all these companies pushing the exact same stuff from the same factories, and the factory's just trying to get stuff over here, like, hey, we got all this stuff, it needs to move so we can make money, and whoever gets it over there fastest, we're going to pay you. So you'd have 20 companies pushing the exact same thing, and it just caused a big cluster F in the B2B world. So they had to crack down on that. But New York, Flushing's, California, City of Industry, Twin Cities out in St. Paul. Yeah, there's a lot of hot spots. Houston was one of them as well.
Okay.
But they would have those buildings. They would have 10 nameless, faceless companies, but they're all these tiny little spots, and they're just designed to move goods all around the world. So
Yeah, these guys
Interesting
were conducting regular, like they kind of wanted you to know they were there, but it would be an address and then a letter of the alphabet, right? So it'd be like, 135 Flushing Boulevard A,
Yep.
135 Flushing Boulevard B.
and then when you run out, you go 135
Like,
Flushing Boulevard
A.
AA.
Right, it was like wow, like I mean, you see some of these places in that neighborhood that were just like would blow your mind. Like it looks like honestly something out of a movie where somebody's walking down a street in Vietnam or something.
You said
where-
this is where?
This is Flushing, Queens, New York.
Damn.
So like it'd be like more towards like more eastern part of New York City of Queens, like kind of near where the Mets play. Is where I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
I mean, Salt makes no difference. I still don't know where the fuck that is.
Yeah.
right, but I mean,
I've still never been out there.
I'm sorry, what?
for people listening, or remember the end of Men in Black 1, where they had like the little spaceships
Yeah.
that like
Right.
That's
okay.
the- that's
okay,
the
that's
park.
a place. Okay, all
right,
right.
that's
I
like
actually
a
have
real
a quick
place.
question.
I've seen those towers.
Mike, you said something I've never heard of that. Like, what exactly what is the Mets?
Right?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. Sorry,
It's all about the Mets, baby.
sorry, bro.
Somebody's a
From
Yankees
Texas.
fan.
From Texas. Sorry, bro. I actually have a picture in my office. My boss is diehard Chicago. He grew up in Southside, like he's been his whole life in Chicago. He's my tour guide. He's my mentor. He's
Nice.
a great dude. And when I moved into the office, I have a very decent sized office, and like it's the marketing office, so I have like a green room, I have a studio, I have all my stuff that's in there alongside my desk and whatnot, and I have this big wall behind me with nothing on it. So my second time in the city, this is like maybe about a year and a half ago, our printers were up and running, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna do a big mural. So I went online, I stole a picture. Yep, come at me for the IP, it's cool. I stole a picture of some artist renditioning of Nolan Ryan punching Ventura in the face on the mound for one of the best brawls in the MLB's history. And I had that blown up to an 8x10 and basically just draped it behind my desk. And he came in, he was like, what the fuck is this? what the fuck is this? You know that's the Sox, right? I'm like, I know. Oh, I can show you the YouTube clip. It's amazing. This is 1993 at its finest. This is when baseball had big balls. Let's
Right.
go. But yeah, the Mets, they're a good team. I don't like to follow them. It's made me depressed.
Yeah,
I want
no.
so much better for them.
Sorry,
They work hard.
I had to go past, I forget what it was. Now I don't even remember the name of the stadium. But I had to go past that and it was Billie Jean King, where they do the tennis, the U.S. Tennis Open.
Oh, sweet.
It's like Billie Jean King Arena or something. They got all these fucking
Billie
tennis
Jean
courts
is
and
not my
shit.
lover arena.
Yeah, probably. Definitely not mine.
Did you
ever
blow
seen,
up, are you gonna blow
seen
up
her?
a big picture of the Pope now? And
I
some
mean,
socks
might as well,
stop
dude.
behind you?
Yeah, homeboy's strapped. He's ready to go, dude.
Yeah, you gotta
You don't mess around with him.
AI some Portillos into his hand and
Yeah, right?
a bottle of Lord.
Hey, can we shout out your brother for that?
For what?
For going up there.
Yeah, he's going out. So
Yeah. So shout out to Ryan. He's gonna be heading out to the Vatican. He's gonna have a chance to meet the Pope.
Whoa, okay.
May 28th.
And
Wash your hands, Ryan.
I was telling you, I was like, he said he's gonna sneak out a bottle of Malort up there, and I was like, you should also take an Italian beef. He's gonna fucking love you when you go out there with that. I was like, make them both in there.
No,
Smuggle it in.
you got to get some Italian in Rome to make it for you because there's no way.
Yeah.
That's not going to travel well.
It's not going to make it through customs.
Oh yeah, no shit. That's a joke
International
though.
overnight air styrofoam
Right. I mean,
container
look,
with the Mylar on the
Vienna
inside. Small
Vienna
window
does
at
have kits you can ship.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
do. The
They
frozen
do.
kits.
I used to do it all the time when I
Really?
lived
Oh,
when I
shit.
lived across different places.
Yeah.
It was like a little taste of home.
They just ordered some Italian beef over, and then like.
Well, they would have like Vienna beef and other
you
places
cook
do
it,
too.
right?
They send you it like in like a freeze dry, like ice dry
pack.
ice and stuff usually.
Okay. All right.
But it's the the gravy, the juice,
Yeah.
the beef, everything, and even the bread, jardiniere.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like a whole kit. It's like it's a homesick
damn.
kit.
Hey, that's what you gotta
Yeah.
take with you. Going back down home.
Wouldn't that be funny to just ship it there to Italy and sit there in Italy eating an Italian
Yeah, I mean,
beef?
Ship to the Vatican.
I feel like we should just send
Just to
it.
say we did it.
And like we gotta like
Hey, we gotta send
make
it
sure
out
we
right
get
now,
a
though.
make sure we get a read receipt. What's it called?
Signature?
Yeah.
Signature on delivery?
Just want to make sure that it gets delivered and doesn't get refused.
Yeah.
Effing around.
F it around. Send you a nice big Italian beef. Don't forget, don't worry, we made it a combo. We gave you our sausage too.
Look, we know you're working, but you still gotta eat, okay?
Yeah.
Forgive me, Father Fox.
Man, you're a Southsider. You get it. You did get a laugh out of it. Seems like you would.
Oh man, that's kind of funny. But that, I mean,
I'm just pumped to have a English speaking pope. To be honest, somebody that I can understand when they're up there talking. When they're not talking in Latin or
Is this the
Italian.
first non-Italian Pope?
not at all.
No, okay.
it's the
I
first
don't know.
American Pope.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not Catholic, so I wouldn't know. But never followed that stuff or anything. Yeah.
I thought you did before you blew him up.
Well, no, we never blew up the Vatican. We were always too weak for
No,
that.
I meant the Catholics.
We never had enough firepower for them.
It's like
Did you see them? They got a fucking fortress out there, man.
This is locked down tight.
they built borders before borders were common.
Hey, seriously?
Before they were issues.
Hey, didn't one of the popes? What the fuck? Was it Francis? Right? He made a comment about Trump building the wall and how that's bad, but then he lives in a fucking fortress. Did you guys hear about that or no?
Well, he lives in a country within a country.
Yeah.
Well, no. The Vatican itself apparently has like a massive fucking wall around it too, or something.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
I mean,
Like-
it's there were medieval times when you had to worry about fucking assholes coming over the walls and shit.
Trebuchets.
Like I guarantee you, there's a moat around the fucking thing, probably.
Yeah, I remember that because I think I told you about that because I remember replying to him. It's real easy to talk shit about someone building a wall when you're living behind one.
is that, did you send it out there?
Right, but I mean, look,
That's what I saw that.
it's just for safety. He's old. Look at him. He's old.
Does it have
So
wheelchair
old.
accessible ramps? Is that okay? Does he have like a handle next to his toilet? Like,
I guarantee you, he
okay.
does. It's like the first pope in like 200 years who doesn't need one. I mean, he's gonna need it soon. He's pushing 70, but
that's why you got to keep sending him the beef, dude. Keep his protein up.
Yup.
that came out wrong. I think.
At least he didn't say sausage.
Father, forgive me for I sinned.
Hey, you guys are all going to hell.
I hear they have better parties.
I heard that's where the air conditioners are. And for every broken McDonald's ice cream machine, it's down there.
That's one of the greatest conspiracies of all time. Did you ever hear about that? There's a whole documentary on it.
About the McDonald's ice cream machines?
Why the machine never works. There was a company that created the ice cream machines for McDonald's.
Yes.
They got the monopoly on every single McDonald's. McDonald's blew up. It was already blowing up when they did this. And like their top level like C-suite has unredacted documents that have come out like over the years. They're saying Mr. Freeze or whatever your company name is, I don't even know what it's called, but there is a documentary about it. And it says, we have to make sure that nobody can service this except for you internally. They need to constantly be down so we can get service fees and service money. And they were basically laundering money out of McDonald's for their ice cream machines. And they were always down because they were scheduled to be down all the time. And they basically made money from things not selling for money, which is stellar. Like,
I heard that they were just breeding ground for like bacteria and shit, and it was just such a headache.
That's like all fountain drinks.
But it was just
machines,
like
right?
those the ice cream machines specifically, and it kind of sounds like it goes along with it. They were such. What I heard was they were such a headache to service, to clean. That's why like nobody wanted to do it because it was such a like
it's a bullshit
nasty job.
I will up you one, Mike. I used to work at Sonic in high school. The Sonic the Drive-In. I was the dude that was the ice cream bitch, and I did that for a whole summer. And then I became
it's a
crew
job,
leader.
ice cream bitch.
Ice cream bitch is an actual title. It's an unspoken title, but we all call
fry
me the
cook,
ice cream bitch.
You're on the grill.
And then I
you're
was
ice
the
cream
and then
bitch.
I was the
Ice
skate
cream
bitch. I
bitch.
took out the orders and skates. And then
Did you have to wear short shorts?
Dude, honestly, I've worn short shorts for Halloween and a grass skirt as a hula girl with some like coconuts. I mean, it's comfortable. It's better than air conditioning. But for your point, for the ice cream machines, when I would go change the ice cream machines and clean them out, imagine a Capri Sun.
Yeah.
It's gigantic with a big old nipple on the end. You like that word, nipple, Joe. And you can slap the bag, get the slap sound. It's like a Franzia. But that you dump it inside almost like one of those like container store crates. And there's a tube that goes down into it, and it siphons it up, pulls it into the chamber, and the refrigerant, the seals around the refrigerating area, everything in there is just kind of loosely designed to stay clean for a moment. And then everything just gets gummy, sticky, nasty. It's all like sugar and like this fake lactose stuff. It gets really disgusting. So not to try and shit on anybody's ice cream dreams of, wherever you go for it, but most of that stuff, as long as it's being cleaned on a regular basis, is clean. But most places are like, man,
Wasn't there just a big lawsuit too for McDonald's to break that contract, and they finally was able to break that contract?
I do believe I remember
where they
hearing
can service it
something like
themselves now by anybody.
yes.
Right, and it was
yeah.
it was like the end of
That
the end of the end of the like the bullshit.
But
It was
not
like
the end of
big-
the mantra. I don't want to work at the end of the night. The ice cream machine's broke. Sorry, it's not going to work. Never stop that.
Right.
It really works, bro.
I've gone there once where like I asked, because everybody always asks like is the ice cream machine working, right? And I've had this guy who was on was just through drive-through. Who got fucking pissed at me that I asked him. He was like, "This is a McDonald's. Why are you asking that? Of course it's working." I was like, "Dude, since when the fuck is it working?" I was like, "I don't think I've been to one for a fucking year where it was working." I was like, what
Triggered
are you
that
talking
dude, bro.
about?
Dude,
He
honestly,
was so mad. I'm like,
don't shake it, dude. Tell him he's doing the Lord's work. He's helping to reset the narrative. Thank you. The Pope is going to be very proud of you. We care about that.
No. I don't know where this is coming from. This weird. Why would you ask that? Yeah, this is McDonald's. Everything works. Come on. Fuck.
You want me to tell you can't have a McFlurry, dude? Are you not McLovin' it already?
Well, I can tell you that it's wrong month, bitch.
Wrong story. You don't have it your way.
I think McDonald's had one of the greatest like ads of all time because it showed up way more than they thought it would. They would put Ronald McDonald on a bench, crossing his legs, putting his arm over the bench. Yeah, you know the one where he's sitting like that?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that from a kid.
There have been so many pictures of women that are just putting their face in his lap and sharing it like on social media for years. It's been on the internet.
No shit.
I've never
seen that.
No.
Ronald McDonald just leaning back, clowning it up.
Right.
And getting that.
There were like that was like a thing. People in Texas, at least in like the social media circles, like way back in the MySpace era, all the way when Facebook started, people share their funny pictures of what they're doing. That was a very common one, and it would show up all the time. And it's free branding for McDonald's at the end of the day, and it's clever. And
I know somebody that works at McDonald's. I got to find out if they like pulled all the benches there.
I think they did.
I haven't seen find them on like Facebook Marketplace and shit. You can.
No, I'm
you
just
can
wondering
order
if they're
their
like
cards.
out in front of like a McDonald's somewhere still. You know,
We gotta try to
Nearby.
find them one day.
We got to get you a big grimace so you can just grind on
Oh,
them.
dude, hell yeah!
Or we're gonna get those robotic. Remember the robotic mice from Chuck E. Cheese's?
Oh shit! The animatronic ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the space for that.
Yeah, that's
We
a
can
big
make the
motherfucker.
space.
That's a big rat.
That was somebody's job, dude. Okay, here's what we need you to do. I know you're an electrical engineer, but what we want is we want a dancing mouse and a dancing pile of fluff. They have to sync up with music. Can you build these robots? Like, this is... I worked at Deloitte last month. Like, what do you want me to do?
Dude, those things are fucking terrifying as a young kid. Holy shit.
Talking about great branding, you know what ad just popped in my head that you might remember? Remember when Coke and Pepsi used the same ad for the pictures?
What?
Where
No.
it was Pepsi, there was a Pepsi can, and they had like a wrap of Coke on it, opening up, and it said "Scariest Halloween costume ever."
Oh yes.
And then
yes!
Coke ran the same
Shots
ad.
fired.
Yeah, and then Coke just took the same picture, ran the same exact ad, and said, "Isn't it when you want to be like the best?"
God, that's
Or
so
something like
good.
that.
I just
Like,
saw
they
some,
didn't even, it wasn't even like they replicated and repositioned it. They took the exact same ad with the
flipped it.
background and everything and just changed the words.
That's fucking
great.
awesome. That's a good
Right.
Change the narrative right there. You did all the work. Let me just show you how easy it is
Yo.
to match it.
Speaking of Pepsi, and I don't know if this is true, but I just saw it was like one of those memes, you know,
Yeah.
and like it was like it could have been fake because it was like, you know, at some point in history though it said that Pepsi had the 6th or 7th largest navy in the world because it had exchanged like $6 billion worth of Pepsi product to the USSR, and what they got for it were like a submarine, couple battleships,
Fighter jet.
no jets, but they were
Remember
all.
just a
It
bunch
was,
of, like,
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're
right? No, I
talking
know
about.
all about that one too.
That was before your time.
That, there's a whole documentary about that one.
Submarine
Oh,
they
did they?
painted? Did they put the Pepsi logo on the submarine?
I think
So in the meme thing I saw, yeah, they showed all the ships that they had gotten, and they had like they were painted white, and they had like the Pepsi logo like in the middle of like most of
They
them.
did.
Badass.
I thought they just got rid of them though. I thought
Right? No,
well,
I don't know.
I don't know if
again,
those were like photoshopped pictures.
right,
of
that's
them,
what I'm
you know?
saying. I don't know if it was true or not.
Right.
I didn't like dig into it,
So,
but it was
I
just
heard the
something we were
story.
talking about, like ads and stuff. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that was just some marketing ad where,
Right.
like, you know, if I were to click on it or something, it would said, you know, not, you know, image AI generated or
Yeah.
something. You know,
No,
like
so,
I didn't
so
even
think
think
it's a
to
real
look.
thing. Like it's an actual fucking story for it because I looked into it a little bit more when I saw that meme too because I saw
Okay.
it too, right? And I looked into it a little bit more and it was like supposed to be an actual fucking thing, but I don't think they actually did anything with it. I think they just got rid of them at some point.
Shame on
and
them.
that was it.
Yeah.
You know
They
what you could
don't-
do?
they don't
Get
own
giant
them
Pepsi
anymore.
cans
You
and
know,
load them
that
into
would've been
torpedoes.
so
they
and
probably-
be like, yeah, I'm shoving this up.
They probably did it as a
Send to
tax
Coke.
write-off, though.
Oh, that's true
what?
too.
They probably just junked him as a tax write-off or gave him away for something,
yeah.
and they took the loss.
Probably gave them to the fucking
Yeah.
U.S. Navy to.
They probably did. They probably did it that what WB did to Supergirl. Just tanked it for the money.
Right. Just take the
Smooth, get the check.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, I don't know. So Mo, you did look into it. And
I looked into it. Like,
Right.
This was years ago too. This
Right.
it's a pretty old fucking meme.
Right, no, and the thing, and the meme was like for a short time. It didn't like,
Right.
and I don't remember like the amount of time. Like,
Yeah.
I know it was like less than a year.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I remember that from like I know it wasn't a long period of time, but I just remember like seeing that and be like, yeah, for like you know it's like $5 or $6 billion
Right.
worth of Pepsi product. The you know Russia exchanged that for gave them these like. It was like a number too. It was like
I think
2 cruisers,
Yep.
3 battleships,
Yeah.
a submarine.
I think
You know,
they were
it's
like
like,
all
fuck.
older, like
Getting
equipment
retired
stuff.
out.
Yeah,
Obviously,
stuff
like-
that. Like
Right.
How
they're
much
just
you want to
coming
bet the U.S. military got in a lot of those bases now?
They
Did
probably
Pepsi
did.
for a long time instead of Coke.
Oh, you think it's been Pepsi over there?
I'm just saying
Uh,
it could have been a nice little trade-off at a
What
time.
is it? What is it that I forget which war it was. But I remember it's like it was during either World War II or something like that. But like they were saying how freaked out it was, or maybe it was like the U.S. versus Japan. That every time they felt like they were like feeling like good about like the war, the Japanese side, then the U.S. would like send in a shipment of this ice cream, and they were just looking at Americans like, how the fuck are you guys eating ice cream right now? And this fucking time, right? Like like they're getting their asses fucking beat, and they're just getting ice cream just shipped.
Oh,
over
you
to
mean
them
like
to
they
eat.
would like send like accidentally drop 1 or 2 like
No,
in
like
the,
they'll see shipments of ice cream being sent to the Americans, and they're like these people are like they're eating fucking desserts out here, and and we're just like in a war, fucking getting fight they're all getting fucked up.
Look, if Forrest Gump is to be believed, if you get shot in the ass, you get all the ice
Ice cream
cream
you want.
That's
Yeah.
actually super important.
like
my lineage is Polish.
Uh-huh.
So in my family in I've been to Poland a couple times, and there's one thing that is very consistent. Regardless of what you're doing, there's always time for lade. Lade is the Polish word for ice cream, and it is prevalent in every corner store, every restaurant, every supermarket, and there are sections, like you walk into like a local grocer or something like that, you have like your frozen food section, there's ice cream. Imagine that being times by 4. People are making it all over, there's all different kinds of flavors and styles, but you're never out of time for ice cream in Poland. But their national sport's also the sand beach volleyball, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But the ice cream thing,
Dude,
never a bad time for ice cream.
Fucking shit.
Never
Bro,
a bad time.
never is.
Have you been to Ireland?
I've heard the Swedish
Where?
volleyball
Ireland?
team is also
On my
very
bucket
popular.
list, but no, I haven't.
Oh, because they have the little soft serve 99 cents on like every store and every little mini mart where they put a little baby mini flake in it. You know the flake ice cream, the flake candy bar. It's like the chocolate that melts in your mouth.
See, they get it.
Yeah, and it
get
gives
it.
into every little soft serve cone. It's
No
99
shit.
cents, and it's like everywhere you can get it.
There was a friend of mine was telling me this yesterday, where he was saying that so like up in past America, everybody was like so fucking poor. Past America, yeah, in your time, you know.
Oh,
Our time. He's
All
already
of our
said-
time? No, just go wait outside. We're gonna complete this without you.
So apparently, ice cream was like it was, if you had money, you had ice cream basically. And they're like that's how you know the world is like a little bit better, is because even poor people can have ice cream.
Yeah, dude.
It's like,
Flexing this tin roof
Yeah,
on your
right.
ass, bitch. Cherry Garcia, you ain't got shit.
depends.
you know the world's not bad when you can't afford ice cream
Were
anymore.
you getting that water ice cream or that milk ice cream? You know?
That real lactose, bro. I was rolling through the strip clubs during COVID in Houston, through the car wash area. I was throwing out Bluebell homemade ice cream, showing how well
You know that
girls are eating it up.
that agua paleta strawberry is a lot different from that leche one,
The
man.
leche one?
Yeah. You know, and that
Brand
was
equity, all
You know,
day.
back in the day, man, that's how you knew if some kid had money. He had the extra 50 cents or whatever for the milk paleta.
Did you
You're
see?
flexing.
Oh, was it this week in court? What one of the Ben and Jerry's guys went nuts? Was it?
Oh yes.
No shit.
Yeah.
Probably all
I
that fucking
saw
ice
something,
cream.
but
Yeah.
I didn't like dive into
No,
it.
but
Was
you know
it
what? You know what it
Congress or
was.
senators?
Hold on, let me
Yeah.
tell us.
It was calling out for support of Gaza, and so like they got security. Like I don't think he went crazy. He just started saying support Gaza.
No,
support
I don't
Gaza
mean
or some
crazy,
shit.
crazy. Like, man, he
Yes.
made a crazy scene. Like, he
Yes,
stood
yeah,
up.
he made
I
a
think,
scene.
wasn't he in Congress? He was sitting in there like a red beater, like a breezy, holding a sign, yelling,
Some
like,
shit like that, yeah.
yeah.
But he
kinda
was
being
on-
very disruptive.
He was on some council though for it, and then he got dismissed from said council for his outburst.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Right.
a time and a place to have your outbursts,
Right.
but like that should be an area of order. It should be able to, go through all its bullshit and its backwards politics and whatever, but it shouldn't be impeded.
Yeah.
You can take your qualms to social media, take it to a protest somewhere else, make it.
Wait till you have
publici-
your minutes
publicity.
on the time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Don't stand up holding a sign, yelling at someone else when you're doing it.
Right? Yeah. No, but that was.
But one of the things that popped in my head when we were talking, like, because we were talking about like shipping in ice cream,
Yeah.
and we were talking about World War II, and I know in the past we talked about Canada and the Geneva things, and one of the things that I saw on TikTok this week, and I wanted to bring it up, so I'm glad you brought it up, and it reminded me was, you know how I was talking about how Canada was one of the reasons they have all those Geneva Conventions for the shit they did back in World War II in a previous episode?
Right.
I don't
One of-
remember talking about it on the episode, but I remember talking about it.
One of the things that they did, it came up, people were talking about it on TikTok, and it was really big in the last couple of weeks, was what they would do is they'd be throwing food or gifts over to the other side, and people were accepting them and doing it, and then once they got happy and wanted more gifts, then they throw a live grenade. And they kept doing it to people.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so like
Oh, they
World War.
Pavlov the hell
Yeah.
out of them, dude.
Yeah,
Smooth.
yeah. Pretty much every tactic the Canadians did in World War One was something that became like a war crime afterwards.
You guys fight shitty. You guys fight. That's why the Dallas Stars are whooping up on the Jets right now.
No, and it's like I think it's just
3-1, baby.
right.
Geneva.
You know, I think it's just one of those ways of being like, look, dude, we're not as sweet as you think we are. Like,
Oh, sorry, eh?
Sorry. Yeah. Every time.
I pulled this out of the wrong nuts there.
oh, jeez, I threw the wrong one.
Sorry, boys.
I thought it was an apple.
Canada's so sneaky, trying to be so nice, and then chucking live grenades. That should have been
Yeah,
ice cream.
That's why they say sorry all the time, because they're so fucking shitty. that they have to
Sorry.
constantly
Ingrained in their
apologize.
society.
They have to
Apologizing
constantly
for all
apologize.
time and eternity with
Yeah.
the vernacular. Good job, Canada. Good on you.
Whether they got to that part or not, they're apologizing already for it. they haven't even done the worst thing yet.
Have you guys watched Letterkenny?
Okay.
I've seen parts of it. I haven't watched it like
Trailer Park Boys, then.
Okay, Trailer Park Boys not my forte. Letterkenny though, love it.
Yeah.
Also, just finished up with my girlfriend. We watched the entire seasons of Shoresy. Lost my mind. His chirps are top tier,
Yes.
amazing. Like they built a whole spin-off from Letterkenny
Yeah.
Yes.
based on Shoresy.
Right.
But what started it is just the authenticity of the country bumpkins that live in Canada. They get all the accents right. They have the same kind of bullshit. And Shoresy got to play a little part in the beginning, which was super cool.
Yeah.
But I love that show.
Oh, it's amazing.
I do love
Give your
like
balls out, tuck there, boys.
Right.
Like, it's so good.
right. I haven't watched his show at all, but I've seen like just the shorts that like roll through on social media, and just even then the people that like will put like make their own kind of thing, like pretend like a short or something, but like do it against somebody else. Like a friend, or throw a politician's face or a celebrity or somebody, and like start fucking with them. Like, even those are funny. Just how smooth the entire rollout of whatever he's gonna say.
Dude, the marketing aspect of my life, like I've kind of been screwed in a number of ways when it comes to consuming media. Because every time I watch anything, and you might have the same kind of deal, Joe, but like whenever I watch a show, a movie, Super Bowl commercials, like anything, I judge it. And I'm sitting here in my grading mode, and I'm like, if my interns had made this, how would I like it? How good is it really? Like, how does this move me? But like on Shoresy, shameless plug, but on Shoresy, the cinematography is great. The feelings and emotions that it gives you when they go into battle on the ice, and when they're going in to do weird fucking swinger parties and whatever the hell's going on. Like, yeah, I saw your eyebrows go up. You're like,
now
what
he
the
wants
hell?
to
No,
watch
it's
it.
not just about hockey, my friend. It's about life.
Okay.
But
It's about life.
It is so well written. It is so
The Canadian life.
paced appropriately, and it's just a freaking phenomenal thing to watch. It looks
Oh,
great,
shit.
feels great. So big shout out to them. Letterkenny started it all, but Shoresy is it's classic. It's a classic watch.
So the big thing
Yeah.
that grabs me all the time now is when I watch stuff is I watch for product placement in movies too.
Oh, dude, totally.
Big time. And I started it when Man of Steel, and I don't know if I talked about this on a morning show. Might have been the morning show.
Maybe.
But Man of Steel is what started me watching product placement, because the biggest product placement in Man of Steel that stuck out to me was Sears.
Yep.
And I'm like, they had this big giant ad, and the first thing I did was I walked out of that movie and I tweeted right at Sears. So you did product placement in Man of Steel, but you can't keep your name on our fucking tower. And they responded with, "You haven't heard The Last of Us."
Whoa!
Literally this year, or no, in 2024, at the end of 2024, when that bankruptcy stuff started coming up again, I pulled it back up, retweeted it. I'm like, I think I did.
Oh! Did you get a response?
No, not that time. But they literally laughed at me and said, "You haven't heard The Last of Us."
They had to lay off their social media people. That's okay.
Wait, technically they're right. Technically they're right.
We did hear The Last of Us.
You did.
Well, that is actually super fun to watch. It's like a scavenger hunt, because
Yeah.
when you talk about Man of Steel, we're talking about Superman, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Superman from like back in the 1940s, 1950s. Like there are people that looked up to Superman. That when you talk about Sears as a department stores were typically popular with like suburbia and like the middle-aged to elderly. They're all about the Sears. And like I think when you look at movies, you look at shows, like even Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Reebok and like Casio and like whatever. Like there's so many things that get moved around for money, and the amount of money is stupid that they spend
Yeah.
to get their stuff in. Like Super Bowl commercials are how much?
Right.
Like what? Like for like 15 seconds of airtime. Reddit is the most genius. They bought 15 seconds of airtime and put a whole bunch of text one year on the Super Bowl, and it just said like flash on, flash off. And when you like, everybody in America can stop TV and pause it and look at it. Everybody's like, "What is that?"
What-
They go back and they want to read all the text. And Reddit's like, "Haha, we only spent 15 seconds worth of ad time, and you're probably reading this right now from your paused TV. But if you have any questions about anything, you should probably come here and take a look at Reddit." And I'm like, "That's fucking genius."
Right.
I think I remember hearing about that. That
Or
was
when
actually
they,
good
or
as
when
fucking
they,
advertising.
when they just do a
though, it really
QR
was.
code.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
That could have been so bad.
Yep.
For a
when
lot of people.
GoDaddy was first rolling out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
What
The
is
girls
it?
in the fights.
GoDaddy.
I don't know, GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, it's
They host. If you want a website, you want to buy a URL, you want to buy like a domain
Uh-huh.
name. They hosted a ton of domain names, and they'll host them for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it was a place you could go. It was even like you could put in one that you wanted, and if it wasn't like available, they would give you different options where it would be. Like if .com wasn't available, maybe .net was, or, things like
now there's anything you want.
right. But I just remember like a whole bunch of them, things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that was it was like another one, but it also brings up. I remember something that I just remember distinctly as a kid was you remember the show Family Matters, right?
Yeah.
With Urkel.
Oh, golly.
All right, so
it's a rare condition.
Right, that one.
To read any good. I can do the whole thing.
Keep going.
Yeah, cook.
Love and tradition
Let 'em cook.
are the grand design. Some people say it's even harder to find. Well, there must be some magic clue inside these gentle
Seeing
ones.
the beginning.
Cause all I see, do you guys know it? Is a true love.
I don't remember
No,
it,
but I'm
Real
like-
love bursting out of every scene. As days go by, it's the bigger love, the family.
Okay, so
Yeah, there you go.
we found
It
a
wasn't
fan.
me.
You're welcome.
I gotta adjust this.
Sorry, I was raised by TV.
Yeah, no, I think we all were, but wow, man, that was
That was awesome. That was amazing.
that was impressive, to be honest.
That was
How come
absolutely amazing.
How come you didn't sing on Tuesday?
Oh,
What the
that,
fuck, dude?
I was high as balls. I will say that straight
Oh
up.
my God.
My friend Asian Tom came in. He started his job working with me, and he's like, "I went to the dispensary, bro." I'm like, "That's probably not a good idea." And I'm like, I gotta get a haircut." And he's like, "Just do this first." I'm like, "All right." And then we show up there, and it was not ideal, but there was a lot to keep me busy visually. So thank you for that.
All right.
That was amazing, by the way.
It
You did a
was.
great job.
Yes, it
Thank
was.
you.
It was.
So I remember a specific episode from watching it as a kid where like I think Carl and Urkel get shrunk down, right? And they're in the kitchen, and there's all the somebody had gone shopping or whatever. And I just remember seeing how nothing was the actual thing. It was all like a bootleg version of there was a Pringles can, but it wasn't Pringles, and it was a different kind of this and that, and then
Like Prongles or something like that.
not like that, but it might have just said potato chips, right?
Oh,
and it was,
yeah.
but it was
That guy
it
didn't
was
have a mustache. He just had a goatee.
right, but it was like the it was
like all
the
those kid shows
cylindrical.
have pear
It was
phones.
like the cylindrical can, and,
Yeah.
instead of Budweiser, it said
Friendweiser.
right, Hoffenweiser, whatever. It just had different things
like
to
that
it, and
in,
I'm just remembering, damn,
yeah,
how many
kids.
times they how many things they missed out on in early on that
Seinfeld.
that's another one.
Seinfeld
where
was
you
in
would-
they created their own brands for things like they had like you're saying like Budweiser, right? They'll have a can that looks almost identical to
Right.
that, but it would be with a different name. They had a different type of a Sprite that was which
But
I think that was
Jerry Seinfeld was notorious for wearing awesome Nikes though, and those were always available on screen.
Yeah, that's true. I mean that is true. But it was
I
more
never-
of
never
for
noticed.
potato chips. I never really noticed the shoes either. But it was for chips or drinks or whatever it is. They always had a type of whiskey that they pulled out that they brought in 8 times in the show,
Yep.
which I think they had a spin-off with it or so. And they brought up that whiskey again, and I was like, man, is this a real fucking whiskey? I was like, what is it that they're drinking? I look it up, and it's brands that they made up. It's just,
Of course,
it's all
because
this,
nothing tastes better than not getting
the
sued.
nuggets.
Yeah. No, I mean, but
No,
marketing,
I was
whether
just
it be
saying the
gimmicks
missed
or-
opportunity for the product placement.
Yeah.
That it seems had they had Pringles or whoever's in charge of Pringles at that
Oh,
time.
how much money would they have made?
Well, think about
Right.
your restreams too. Seinfeld completed all of the series,
Yeah.
and it's still one of the most watched sitcoms in the world.
Yeah.
And with the fact that we can recall things
Right.
and watch things nonstop, you're missing out on impressions in perpetuity.
Right.
Should have been an investment. It would have been a small investment, and it would have taken off.
Right,
done
and I
exactly
think
what
I
it was
feel like
supposed
you
to.
see that a lot in older TV shows where the product placement, while it was happening and it was even sometimes being made fun of in movies, in Hollywood movies.
Right.
Somebody obviously taking a drink of a Pepsi. Wayne's World loves the
Or what was it? The Twinkie Fest. and remember that with Woody Harrelson and
Zombie
Whoa,
Fest.
whoa.
Zombieland.
Zombieland with the
Where the whole
Twinkies.
fucking thing was all he wanted was a goddamn
Twinkie.
Twinkie.
Yeah.
Because when you think about like massive product placement, I think of that and the fast food wars from Demolition Man,
Okay, fair enough.
where they did a whole thing.
Everything
Harold
is
and
Taco
Kumar.
Bell. Everything's
Kumar,
Taco
too.
Bell.
Kumar, yeah.
Right, everything's Taco
So
Bell.
I was living in California
Uh-huh.
when that came out, and I was watching it, and I was watching it with my buddies, and we're over in the barracks, and we're sitting there like, man, this place should exist, and I'm sitting there like, it does, motherfuckers. Like it does.
It's a real place.
Right, but people didn't realize White Castle was real.
It's a very
Because
funny
it's
concept.
your White Castle.
Right.
Oh, there's actually a film that I've been kind of like working on here and there that's supposed to be a comedy horror that's supposed to be an advertisement at the end of it, and I want to talk about
Now somebody else is
going
gonna do it.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But-
Fuck. This is not gonna be redacted. No, just,
But it's funny. I think it,
Edit it. You're
You're
fine.
the editor.
oh yeah, wait a
Right.
minute. No.
But I think it's KFC, if I remember correctly. It's Taco Bell in America, but it's KFC worldwide for Demolition Man.
Oh,
So
I
they made
just
two
remember.
versions of it.
Oh,
shit.
So Taco Bell is only the American version for Demolition Man, but if you go to any other country, it's KFC.
and watch the movie. You mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you can't
Okay.
see
It's
that.
it's funny because they like own each other, right?
Yeah, they
Because they used to have
Oh, do
the
they?
Yeah.
yeah they used to have like you'd see like hybrid
combination.
restaurant
Yeah.
hybrid
But they're also with Pizza Hut too, right?
and Pizza Hut
What
right
was it? What was it? I
Combination
remember
kind of-
seeing like Hardee's and something together too, like
Walmart.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Walmart. It's in Walmart.
Yeah, no. So when I was a
I
little
used to see
heads up.
Hardee's in like another fucking restaurant together, called like Pizza Hut or something like that. He said Walmart.
No,
I need a
seriously.
burger and some Thai.
So I remember starting this like road
need
trip
some
when I was a
pants.
kid, and my dad making this statement that like every time you saw a Walmart while we were going by, he's like, I guarantee you'll see a Hardee's or it was something else. I forget the other place that he said it might be, and it wasn't like Carl's Jr. or whoever. It was like their
Also,
West
Carl's
Coast
Jr.
version.
is a thing too. Like, what the fuck happened
They-
to those places?
It
They
still
hunkered
exists on the
together.
West Coast.
yeah.
They hunkered
They're-
together
they're
in
all
Texas.
there.
We have.
Oh, that's probably what it was. It was probably Carl's Jr. and a Hardee's that I've seen
Not in
together.
Texas.
No.
Texas,
They're
it'd be like
literally
La
the same.
Quinta
They're
Inn.
just
It
different.
would be
It's
like
like
La
Rallies
Quinta
and
Inn at
Checkers.
Denny's.
Oh, okay.
Right next door, guaranteed. Like anywhere you go in the South, it's La Quinta, like the hotel chain or a Super 8 or whatever. Always a Denny's. Denny's probably collaborated with all the hospitality
Right.
things and was like, hey, people are there, they're gonna get hungry. Let's put our shitty food over here.
What about
Okay.
Bennigan's?
So that was just one of the ones, and it was like almost immediately, and then even on future road trips, it was like, oh, there's the Walmart. Okay, where's the Hardee's? And it'd be like, there it is.
Scavenger
Like,
hunt, found it.
and then it would like everybody would look around, like because you're going through the exits or the
Yeah.
the interchange or whatever. You'd look around, and be like, oh, there it is. It's down
Yeah.
the street, or almost without fail, did we do it to where it became like an inside family joke, where it would just be like, oh, there,
So that's why so many have been closing down because they didn't put them near Hardee's.
I'm just saying.
Ooh, the
So,
Walmarts. Oh.
Location.
Right,
Exactly.
right. No, so I remember my little sister calling out, "There's the Hardee's. Where's the Walmart?" And my dad correcting her and being like, "No. It doesn't always go that way." He's like, "You got to see the Walmart, and then you'll
Then the
see,
Hardee's.
and then you see the Hardee's not far away."
Yeah, you see.
And then I
first
lived-
You see the forest before you
Right.
can see the tree.
And I lived in a downstate town, and we had a Walmart, and not 2 miles down the road was a Hardee's. Now, there's no way you would have been able to see the two of them at the same time, but still, they were on the same road, and you wouldn't have seen them from the Manor Highway that goes past the town, but still.
But I'll give you a funny Hardee's story. So back in college days, right? I'm sleeping, no idea what's going on. Had a drunk night, whatever's happening. I wake up to like the doorbell going crazy.
Well, you weren't sleeping; you were passed out.
Yeah, pass the fuck out. So I wake up to the doorbell being rung like crazy, right? So I go answer the door, and there's a bunch of officers, and I'm like, "What's going on?"
Oh, this is not the
Right.
guess you want.
And I'm like, "What's up?" And they go, "Oh, are you Mr. Phelan?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they go,
I don't know.
"Were you driving last night?" I'm like, "No, somebody else took my car." And they go, "I'm like, why?" And they go, "Do you have your car keys?" I'm like, "No, I got to ask one of the roommates. I'm sure one of them took it because it's a shared communal car and there's a bunch of guys in his house. So someone else probably took it." I'm like, "Do you know where they went last night?" I'm like, "No, why?" And they go, "They left your license plate in the middle of Hardee's."
That's
They drove
inside.
They drove into Hardee's. The license plate got stuck inside, and they reversed out. And like, if you check the camera, you're like, no, and he doesn't want to press charges. He just wants you guys to replace the front window.
Jesus Christ.
And then it made the paper, and I really wish I still had this. It said, people do a hit and run in Hardee's, not the smartest, leave license plate in the middle of restaurant.
Wall of shame.
Yeah.
The wall of shame.
It's like
Made it.
And I'm sitting there like, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, thankfully, there's like a bunch of us in there, and they couldn't really figure out which one did it. But luckily, when we finally went to the car and checked out, because I woke everyone up before we went, because I had to find out who had the keys, which was number one, how we figured out who it was, and two, when he said he didn't try to do it. All of us were like 6 feet or plus, except one of us.
And the seat was really far up, wasn't it?
Dead giveaway.
You know what taught me to search for that? Remember the movie Son-in-Law?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
But it's the funny, because luckily they didn't want to do anything. They couldn't get anyone because they couldn't prove it or anything, but it was just through the window to try and do it.
That's fucking awesome.
Somebody was really hungry.
Well, yeah, I guess. Oh, hey, look, all you had to do is pay for a window. That's wild. I can't imagine what else he must have done with it.
He saw the Walmart and got excited.
He was trying to find it, then he ran right into
Funny,
it.
there actually was a Walmart not far.
See? Validated. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You know, look, the old man's an asshole. He's not dumb.
But to me, in my head, that still cracks up. You left your license plate.
That's fucking awesome.
It's not what you want to be woken up to hear, though.
Oh no, sure not.
Ever.
That could have went a million different ways, and I'm just sitting there like, you can't, like, I couldn't keep a straight face.
Dude,
I got
cops
woken up by
cops
the
are wild,
police
dude.
once.
They're all over. My dad was actually a police officer for about like 20 years outside San Antonio, and like he gave me a lot of fun stories, taught me how to act around cops the appropriate way, and I listened to none of that when I got into college. I was literally like just doing dumb stuff all the time. But Texas cops are like a different breed. They're like kind of like more bumpkin than not. So if you do something dumb, they'll call you out and they'll just tell you you're stupid. And if it's stupid enough to where you really need to go to jail, they'll probably go ahead and take you in. But if it's just stupid enough to where you should just be embarrassed because you're an idiot, they'll tell you and they'll wander off into the night, which is kind of fun.
Same as city cops. It's more of a experience thing, though. I would say for more veteran cops are more like that in the city. Where the younger cops are like, oh, I gotta get tickets, I gotta get arrested, I gotta get my numbers, blah blah blah. I'm fucking, I'm here to fight crime, But I can't tell you how many times in high school we got busted and the cops literally just took our shit.
It's like, get out of here.
Dumped our shit. Stepped on our shit, whatever it might have been.
Man.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was doing a ride up to college, not college, to St. John's Northwestern Military Academy when I was in high school to go do a delivery for some cigarettes and some stuff to some friends who went up there. Got pulled over on the way. They made us open up the cartons of cigarettes, throw them on the ground after we ripped them all up, and then poured the booze over it because we were all under 18.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Like cartons.
Yeah.
That solves the problem. My dad, actually, in San Antonio, my dad holds the record for the most tickets given in one shift because he was a absolute asshole.
I
He was
remember that story.
that was
that was a good story.
an alpha male jackhammer. And just completely, you don't F with this guy. When he got later on in life, he was super sweet, but he was a motorcycle cop.
Oh my god, dude! This guy sounds like my fucking dad, a Texas version.
there is a real thing though. The KPIs for cops, they call them DARs. This is what my dad told me. They're called daily activity reports. And what you do in the course of your shift, the reason they're always charting everything and putting everything down is because they have turned that into a supervisor. A supervisor looks and goes, you know what? You're not really doing any policing. You're just sitting on your ass all day. And my dad was like a purist. He was like, well, if there's nothing to fucking do, I'm not going to do it. And they were like, well, I need to find some way to stay busy. And my dad got pissed with hearing that, with all the multiple bosses he had, and said, you know what? Okay, you want me to stay busy? I'll stay busy. My dad got on his bike. First minute for his shift, went straight to a off-ramp off of the highway in San Antonio, and they had all this construction that was going on, and if you wanted to go ahead and go to the Walmart, which probably was next to a fucking Hardee's, and you had to get off that on-ramp, you would have to go around to a light, down to another light, back on another light, back on another light, and then come down the access road and make a big old loop around the Walmart because there was one way in, one way out with the construction.
Yep.
So my dad said, all right, you want me to go ahead and hit these DARs? I'll show you what I can do. He would stop and he would pull people over that went back just a little bit on the access road to go into Walmart. And he'd go, you pull over. Second person would do it while he's pulling them over, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's got somebody. He's busy. He'd go, you pull over, too. He would start lines. He made lines of cars, and then he would go, nobody move. He had some people try and run. He didn't care. He was like, I'm just going to get a volume today. Went up to the front and go, here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Here's your... Now, everybody go! And then he would do it again. And he did it for 8 hours. 8 hours straight, pulled in almost 200 tickets, and just turned that in. They were like, how could you do this? This gives us a bad name. It made the newspaper as well. Local cop gives out an obscene amount of tickets. Citizens are outraged, and it was in like the San
Need to
Antonio
call for a
Diaz.
refill of his ticket book.
Dude, honestly, I'm sure he had posted up and stacked that day and brought an extra 2 or something. But he was like, I'm going to make
He
a
sent
message.
a message.
He sent a message.
So I don't know if my dad ever did something that extreme.
I
But
think
yeah,
most
what he
people have.
started doing when he got a similar, let's call it reprimand.
Yeah,
that,
hustle up, make some more
right.
work happen.
He started ticketing city vehicles, buses, construction equipment that was on city roads, like
Yeah, dude.
because you see it all the time. But like you're like, okay, you want to see some numbers? Here's some numbers, and they're all just absolute headaches to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, like the city thing, it goes to the city department,
Yeah.
and then it gets kicked around a bunch. But still, hey, it's there, and it just wastes a lot of people's time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, I mean, your dad sounds a lot like how my dad.
Oh, my dad was rude.
Yeah.
There was one guy while that was going on. and my-
1 second before we continue with this. It is 8:20 right now. I know you said that you need to get out of here by 8:30.
No, dude, it's okay. Let's
wanna
run
keep
it.
going?
I'm having okay.
We'll just come to a natural conclusion.
Just a
How's
moment.
that?
Just a moment here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm having so much fun with you boys. It's so nice to meet you. This is a wonderful experience. Joe, you and your perverted mind, super fun. Mike, you're a good guy on Thursday. I don't know how you are on Friday.
switch.
And Mo, I'm not
out.
going to say anything bad about you because sometimes I come see you for haircuts and I really appreciate that.
And you got a really clean neck,
Yeah.
which means he has a blade to you.
Yeah, he does. It's very. We gotta be very
Yeah.
cautious with that.
Yeah, gotta,
So my dad,
a guy you want to keep on your side.
my dad told me one of the guys that he pulled over during the ticket extravaganza of whatever 1996 it was. He said that he actually pulled somebody over that had a collar on. He was going to church, hauling ass, doing what he did, and he pulled him while he was flying down the on-ramp and stopped the line, got on his bike, pulled him over and said, back it up, put him at the front of the line, came over, finished his tickets for all the rest of the cars. And my dad would always say this with like a big smile. He was like, I walked up over to the car, I had my book ready to go for speeding, and he looks at me dead in my eye, and I was like, your license. And he goes, before I do that, I'm going to give you this. And he gave my dad a WWJD bracelet. The What Would Jesus Do bracelet. Probably one of the inaugural ones when they first came out. And my dad goes, what the hell's this? And he goes, what would Jesus do? And my dad goes, hold on 1 second. He put it on his forehead and he goes, what's that, Jesus? You want me to give this asshole a ticket? Hallelujah. Okay. Gave him back his bracelet, slapped the ticket in there. He told that story with such pride. He just loves being the authoritarian and just being a dick when he can. He's a sweet man. He was a sweet man, but like, dude, he had his arrow and it was his villain arc, and it was great. It was great. Made for some good talking points.
It definitely does. Yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I'm actually gonna get a refill of some bourbon if you wouldn't mind.
shit,
I'm gonna have a sip for my father. Mike Gempy out there watching from above. He was a great cop, great dad, kind of an asshole cop, but a great cop.
Yeah, no, same, man. I'm almost wondering if that's a good place to actually end because that was such a.
Yeah, that's like the perfect story. What
such a
would
good-
Jesus
All right,
do?
wait, what would Jesus do?
You know?
Give me this ticket.
And we started with the Pope, we ended with Jesus.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we could name this episode.
We stopped at Hardee's.
And
on the way.
Hardee's along the way.
Right. I mean, we could name this episode. What would effing Jesus do?
Yeah, there you go. That's actually a perfect name.
That's a good
He
name.
would always make sure to look for the Hardee's next to the Walmart.
Yep.
Always.
And don't forget, Mike got
W-
serenaded.
Yeah.
And Mike did
we
get
all
serenaded.
did.
Yeah, we all did.
No, we all
I
did.
always
That
felt
was
like that was just wasting
that
brain
was
space in my life, but it
nostalgic.
actually came in handy.
that was
Hey, you let it out.
nostalgic as fuck.
I'm
It was.
free.
You know,
Not
but
only did he know it, but like
he got the beats too.
No.
yeah, like he like Like he's got some sort of training behind
Yeah.
it to where like he's like one of those guys
He's
that
sung
goes
it
like
every day of
a
his life. That's
professional
what I want.
That's the
karaoke.
shower
Honestly,
song.
the only thing is the severe training is just severe autism. It's okay. It's helpful in my profession. It works well. But
No, did you want to have like any last like words or anything like that before we close up?
I just want to say I've had so much fun having time to F around with you effing arounders. And thank you for letting me come by and visit and hang out. This has been a wonderful portion of my Chicago trip.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to next month already.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll come by. I'll hang out. I'll just sit in the corner. I'll be quiet. I'll just sing TV tunes.
Yeah, we'll put you in the cuck chair. Why not?
And with that,
I just want to watch.
this has been effing around with the fuck arounds. Thank you everybody for joining me, Mike and Joe,
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
and I'm Mo.
Me?
And me, I forgot my name.
We noticed.
Have a good night, everybody.
Your guest, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
And our guest Mike.
Thank you, Mike. He said Mike once.
I know.
I said right. How many mics do we have to say?
Sounds good. It's supposed to be lower.